Late afternoon sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Hartwell's boutique electronics, casting geometric patterns on polished tile floors. The air carried the soft hum of digital displays and the faint scent of new gadgets out of the box. Shoppers drifted between sleek islands of smartphones, tablets, and wearable tech, while store associates offered courteous, "Can I help you?" with rehearsed smiles. At the far end of the showroom, Tony Marshall examined a row of the latest smartwatches. She moved with quiet confidence, her tailored blazer and designer jeans complemented by the subtle sheen of an elegant timepiece already strapped to her wrist. In her leather tote, the fortune card lay nestled in a slim wallet, a promise of doors yet unopened. From behind a display of wireless earbuds, store manager Linda Prescott watched Tony's measured movements. Linda had managed Hartwell's flagship store for 3 years, priding herself on customer service metrics and loss prevention statistics. But something about Tony's composed aura set Linda on edge. She noticed the way Tony's gaze lingered over the interactive screens, curiosity tempered by expertise, and she bristled at the thought of a shopper more knowledgeable than her own staff. When Tony reached for a prototype model, Linda rose from her glass-topped desk and began to follow at a respectful distance. She adjusted her name badge, Linda Prescott, Store Manager, so it caught the light and reminded herself she was merely being attentive. But as she shadowed Tony past the wall of fitness trackers and the VR demo station, her steps grew more purposeful, her eyes narrowing at every glide of Tony's hand across a keypad. Tony, aware of the gaze in her periphery, kept her stride steady. She paused before a display of smart home hubs, tapped through the product comparison screen, and made a note in her phone's voice memo app. When she turned toward the accessories wall, Linda was there again, leaning just inside the wooden frame, clipboard in hand, watching Tony's every move. A beat of unease settled in Tony's chest. She raised an eyebrow, slipped her hand into her blazer pocket, and felt the reassuring contour of the fortune card. In an instant, she understood Linda's suspicion, but she refused to let it fluster her. Tony selected a sleek charging dock and walked toward the central seating area, where a pair of store associates sat poised to assist customers. Linda followed, tightening her grip on the clipboard as she rehearsed the polite inquiry she would pose. "Is there anything I can help you find?" she would ask, masking her internal alarm with practiced managerial warmth. But as Linda closed the distance, Tony lifted her chin and offered a calm, measured nod, an unspoken challenge in her steady gaze. Across the showroom, the late-day bustle continued. A young couple debated earbuds, a teenager tested a gaming controller, and a family inspected a drone. Yet between Tony and Linda, a silent standoff had emerged. One woman's expertise and quiet dignity against another woman's unease and latent bias. And somewhere in Tony's bag, the fortune card pulsed with latent promise, waiting for the moment when its power would shift the balance of this uneasy encounter. That evening, long after the store's bright lights dimmed and the final closed sign clicked into place, Tony Marshall retraced her steps through Hartwell's empty aisles. The polished floor reflected the glow of security LEDs as she gathered her purchases, a charging dock and a high-capacity power bank, into her leather tote. In a quiet corner by the exit, she pulled out her slim wallet and extracted the fortune card. Heavy stock embossed in gold, its edge engraved with a single word, "Believe." Outside, the air was warm with early summer humidity. Tony hailed a rideshare and climbed in, the city's skyline unfolding through rain-washed streets. Settled into the back seat, she powered on her tablet, charging it from the power bank she'd just bought. Hartwell's in-store Wi-Fi network, still active after hours, helped her load the proposal she'd drafted. Fortune Rewards, a loyalty program for the 21st century consumer. Over the hum of the car's tires on asphalt, Tony reviewed her outline. A tiered points system rewarding not only purchases but community engagement, charitable giving, in-store event attendance, and social media advocacy. She'd included mock-ups of mobile app screens, data models projecting a 15% increase in repeat customer visits, and case studies from smaller boutiques that had seen up to 30% engagement lifts with similar programs. She tapped a final flourish, an executive summary addressed directly to Hartwell's CEO, promising a pilot rollout at their flagship store within 60 days. When the car slid to a stop outside her apartment building, Tony tucked her tablet away and stepped into the humid night. Inside her hallway, she activated the card's NFC chip with a gentle tap. An encrypted authentication screen appeared on her phone, unlocking the Fortune card's exclusive contact list. With a few quick keystrokes, she attached her proposal and tapped Send to the CEO's private inbox, an address not publicly available, but bestowed upon her by the card's benefactor. Moments later, a confirmation ping lit her screen. Your proposal has been received by Mr. Harding's office. Expect a response within 24 hours. Tony allowed herself a small smile. The Fortune card's promise was simple. One opportunity, once granted, to change the course of business. She had wielded it thoughtfully, and now, everything hinged on the card's magic. Locked away in its wallet slot, the Fortune card pulsed with latent potential. Tony powered down her tablet, climbed the stairs to her apartment, and lay awake replaying every detail. Tomorrow, the chain of command at Hartwell's would take notice. And within less than a day, the uneasy suspicion of an afternoon in the store would spark a conversation at the highest level, one that would shake up the business and prove that true insight could never be judged by simple appearances. The next morning, sunlight filtered through Hartwell's boutique electronics front windows, even before the store's official 9 a.m. opening. Tony Marshall arrived at 7:30, blazer buttoned, Fortune card tucked securely in her wallet. The showroom was hushed, mannequins of cutting-edge gadgets frozen beneath stark LED lighting. She approached the customer service desk, where assistant manager Raul Ortiz was organizing shelves of wireless chargers. "Morning, Raul," Tony said, offering a warm smile as she set her tablet beside the register. "Mind if I borrow a few minutes of your time?" Raul glanced up, surprised but curious. "Of course. What can I do for you?" Tony tapped open her proposal on the tablet and handed it to him. "I drafted a loyalty program called Fortune Rewards. Points for every purchase, plus bonus points when customers attend store events or post product reviews. It's designed to boost repeat visits and social engagement." She tapped the Fortune card icon at the top of the screen. "I have authorization to pilot this here." Raul scrolled through mock-up screens showing neon-accented progress bars, tiered membership benefits, and instant coupon triggers. His eyebrows rose as he examined projected metrics. A projected 20% increase in customer retention, a 30% lift in accessory sales, and a brand new source of social media-driven foot traffic. "This is impressive," Raul admitted. He looked up. "But corporate's been resistant to major changes. They're still adjusting to the new POS rollout." Tony slid the gold Fortune card across the counter. It glinted under the overhead lights. Raul hesitated, then picked it up reverently. "You have—" "With this," Tony said softly, "I can request an immediate executive review. The CEO's office will respond within 24 hours. Moments later, the store's locked back office phone buzzed. Raul returned with a nod. "It's the regional director," he whispered. Tony took the call in the manager's office, Fortune card resting on the desk like a silent ambassador. "Ms. Marshall," came the calm, authoritative voice of Director Helen Watkins over the speakerphone. "We received your proposal. We'd like you to join a video conference with corporate headquarters at 11 a.m. today." Tony's heart lifted. "Thank you, Director Watkins. I'm ready." She hung up, exhaling in relief and excitement. Back on the showroom floor, customers began to trickle in. Tony moved among them, answering questions about the new charging docks and quietly gauging interest in loyalty incentives. When a young couple asked about member perks, Tony seized the moment. Fortune Rewards members get an extra year of warranty, free tech support workshops, even exclusive early access to new products. Their eyes brightened as she guided them through a quick mock sign-up on her tablet. By mid-morning, store associates whispered behind her back about the Fortune card's power and the prospect of a sweeping corporate pilot. Tony glanced at the illuminated loyalty program mock-up on her tablet, then pocketed the card. She straightened her posture, ready for the 11 a.m. call that would determine whether a single card and a single bold idea could indeed shake up an entire business. At 11 a.m. sharp, Tony settled into a sleek glass conference room on Hartwell's executive floor. A wall-length monitor flickered to life, displaying the faces of half a dozen senior executives in crisply tailored suits. Vice presidents of marketing, operations, and customer experience, arrayed around a polished oak table. Their expressions ranged from polite curiosity to thinly veiled skepticism. Seated beside her, Assistant Manager Raul Ortiz offered an encouraging nod as the Regional Director, Helen Watkins, introduced the agenda. Tony began by sharing her screen, the Fortune Rewards prototype animated through its life cycle. She walked them through the customer journey, signing up via mobile app, earning 10 points per dollar spent, unlocking silver and gold tiers with incremental benefits, and a community impact feature where points converted to charitable donations. Each tap and swipe was accompanied by on-screen metrics. A simulated pilot showed 25% increase in repeat visits, 40% boost in accessory attach rates, and a 15% lift in average transaction value. Midway through her presentation, Tony clicked to the social impact slide. A map of the city lit up with pins, where Fortune Rewards members had volunteered at local tech workshops Tony had organized. Our data shows customers don't just want rewards. They want to feel they're part of something bigger, Tony explained, voice steady. Every 1,000 points donated equals 1 hour of pro bono tech training for underserved youth. That drives loyalty and brand goodwill in ways traditional discounts never could. A VP of operations leaned forward, brow furrowed. Your projections are compelling, but what about integration costs? Our current POS system isn't built for tiered rewards. Tony anticipated the question. I've already coordinated with your IT team. The Fortune Card's backend uses a modular API that layers over existing payment terminals. No rip and replace required. Pilot in 10 stores would cost under $50,000, with ROI in 6 months based on projected uplift. A slide of budget breakdowns flashed, license fees, minimal hardware add-ons, and marketing fund allocations. The CEO, Jonathan Harding, spoke at last, his tone measured but intrigued. Ms. Marshall, your Fortune Card endorsement carries weight, but this is a significant strategic shift for Hartwell's. Why you? Tony smiled, recalling her mentor's words. Because I believe in your store's potential to lead, not just follow. She tapped to a final slide. Pilot success metrics and next steps. A Gantt chart outlined a 4-week rollout. Staff training, customer communications, and real-time analytics dashboards for regional managers. Silence filled the room for a heartbeat. Then, the CEO nodded. Prepare the term sheet, he said, voice firm. We'll greenlight your pilot effective next Monday. The executives exchanged pleased glances as Tony exhaled, relief and triumph mingling in her chest. Helen Watkins closed the call with formal thanks, and the monitor went dark. Back in the showroom that afternoon, Tony and Linda Prescott convened a staff meeting. Linda, once suspicious, now beamed with genuine excitement. Fortune Rewards is ours to pilot, she announced, unfolding the CEO's digital memo. Applause rippled through the associates as Tony outlined the next steps: training sessions, app demos, and launch week promotions. As the team dispersed to implement their roles, Tony slipped the Fortune Card from her wallet and looked at Linda. The card glittered between them, a symbol of courage, innovation, and the power of one bold idea to transform an entire business. Monday morning's first rays filtered through Hartwell's showroom windows as store associates gathered around the central display for Tony's pilot kickoff. The air thrummed with anticipation. New signage proclaimed Fortune Rewards Launch Week, and QR codes glistened beside every product. At the front, Tony stood beside Linda Prescott, whose usual reserve had been replaced by a genuine smile. Linda cleared her throat, addressing the team. I want to apologize for following Ms. Marshall around last week and doubting her intentions. My job is to protect the store, but I let suspicion overshadow possibility. Tony, thank you for your patience. Tony nodded, meeting Linda's eyes. Thank you for saying that. I believe in this store and in every one of you. Fortune Rewards works because we work together. Linda stepped aside as Tony activated her tablet. A demo popped up on the screen. Customers signing up in under 30 seconds, points tallying with each test purchase, and a charity wheel spinning at the end of transactions. Associates leaned in, asking questions. How do we handle returns? What if a customer forgets their app? Tony fielded each query with calm authority, issuing clear protocols. Points reverse on return, and associates can manually adjust balances via a secure back-end portal. Next, Linda led the group to the back office for hands-on training. She distributed tablets preloaded with the Fortune Rewards app and guided each associate through live scenarios. When one trainee hesitated at the tier upgrade screen, Linda placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You've got this," she said, echoing the encouragement Tony had shown her. Together, they ran test transactions. A tablet purchase yielded 250 points, enough to unlock the silver tier and its 5% discount. Associates cheered as the app beeped with confirmation. By mid-morning, the store's first Fortune Rewards members began to trickle in. Regulars who'd heard about the program on social media. Tony and Linda stationed themselves at the customer service desk, welcoming new signups. A young mother scanned her QR code and watched confetti animations burst across her phone screen. 50 bonus points for joining on launch day. She beamed and exclaimed, "This is so cool. I'll definitely be back." Across the aisle, an elderly couple approached with curiosity. Linda knelt to show them the tablet interface and explain how points could convert into charity hours. The couple's eyes brightened. "We love supporting youth programs," the man said, tapping Donate 100 points. The tablet displayed, "You've funded 1 hour of free tech tutoring," and the couple clasped hands in quiet pride. As the morning rush subsided, Tony and Linda convened by the checkout. Linda turned to Tony, voice brimming with gratitude. "Your idea has energized this store. Thank you for challenging us to do better." Tony smiled, slipping the fortune card into her pocket. "Thank you for being open to change." Throughout the day, the transformation was palpable. Associates who once rigidly followed scripts now engaged customers with enthusiasm about their new benefits. The uneasy tension that had marked Tony's first visit had dissolved into a shared mission. And as Linda and Tony watched the real-time analytics dashboard climb, with signups, redemptions, and social shares ticking upward, they both knew this collaboration would reshape Hartwell's future. Sunlight slanted through Hartwell's boutique electronics floor-to-ceiling windows as customers filed in for launch day of Fortune Rewards. Banners emblazoned with the program's teal and gold logo hung from the ceiling, and Fortune Rewards placards crowned every display island. The store had been meticulously arranged. Demo stations cycled through the Loyalty app interface, and glowing decals guided shoppers to scan here to join. Before opening, Tony Marshall stood beside Linda Prescott at the entrance, greeting the first wave of early birds. Tony's tablet glowed with the real-time dashboard, registrations ticking upward, even before the doors slid open. Beside her, Linda held a stack of handouts outlining bonus point opportunities for the week, double points on accessories, and a special Fortune Power Hour midday event. At 9 a.m., the doors parted and a surge of excitement flooded in. A mother with 3 kids scanned her code first, earning a gasp of delight from her daughters when the app animated, "Welcome Silver Member." A local tech blogger, recognized by her camera and microphone, stepped forward next, prompting a quick live interview. Tony answered questions about customer benefits, her fortune card discreetly tucked into her blazer pocket as proof of the program's executive backing. Throughout the morning, the store buzzed. Checkout lines hummed with the sound of scanners and laughter as associates applied member discounts with ease. At 11 a.m., Tony assembled everyone near the demo table for the Fortune Power Hour launch, a 1-hour promotion where every purchase earned triple points. She tapped her tablet, and LED screens around the store flickered to life, announcing, "Fortune Power Hour begins, triple points for the next 60 minutes." The effect was instant. Customers darted from aisle to aisle. Headphones, smart home hubs, charging accessories, all flying off the shelves as shoppers maximized their point earnings. Associates navigated the rush with practiced efficiency, their earlier training evident in smooth app enrollments and rapid customer support. Raul Ortiz and 2 other assistants orchestrated a mobile sign-up station in the middle of the store, easing congestion and keeping momentum high. At 1 p.m., as the power hour ended, Tony reviewed the dashboard. Registrations had spiked 300%, sales were up 45% compared to an average weekday, and social media posts tagged number sign Fortune Rewards climbed into the hundreds. She shared the numbers with Linda, who beamed, "These metrics are off the charts. We've never seen engagement like this." The afternoon brought a steady flow of loyalty exchanges, points redeemed for gift cards, charitable donations tallied in real time, and surprise fortune boxes awarded to high-tier members. One particularly enthusiastic customer, a young programmer, received a $50 accessory voucher simply for being the day's 500th sign-up. His spontaneous social media livestream captured the moment, generating hundreds of shares and further excitement. By closing time, the store's energy had not dimmed. Tony and Linda tallied final analytics. Over 1,200 new members, a 50% increase in foot traffic, and accessory revenue up by 60%. Even more telling, customer satisfaction surveys conducted at checkout showed a 4.9 out of 5 rating for the Fortune Rewards experience. As the last customers departed, Tony led the team in a debrief. She praised each associate by name, celebrating their roles in the day's success. Linda presented Tony with a commemorative Launch Champion plaque, Hartwell's first such award. Tony accepted with gratitude, the fortune card's embossed edge peeking from her pocket. That evening, major retail publications ran headlines. Hartwell's Fortune Rewards sets new loyalty standard, and loyalty program sparks 300%. Membership growth on day one. Inside the corporate office, CEO Jonathan Harding sent a congratulatory email to the entire company. Today, you proved that empowering customers with purpose-driven rewards transforms business. Fortune Rewards has arrived. Thank you for making launch day a triumph. Back at the flagship store, Tony and Linda shared a quiet moment before the lights dimmed. Linda extended her hand, and Tony clasped it firmly. "Here's to many more triumphs," Linda said. Tony smiled, slipping the fortune card back into her wallet. "Together, we'll keep shaking things up." Under the glow of Fortune Rewards signage and the hum of now empty aisles, Hartwell's had not only launched a program, it had ignited a movement, proving that a single card, wielded with vision and collaboration, could reshape an entire business in a single day. 6 weeks after the explosive Fortune Rewards launch, Hartwell's boutique electronics buzzed with an energy entirely new. Store windows bore bright teal and gold posters celebrating Fortune Rewards, 50,000 members and counting, while digital screens in every showroom flashed real-time totals, points earned, charitable hours gifted, and exclusive member perks unlocked. The program had not only met expectations, it had shattered them, transforming Hartwell's from a traditional retailer into a vibrant community hub. That evening, Hartwell's corporate office transformed its glass-walled atrium into a sparkling gala venue. Under vaulted ceilings strung with Edison bulbs and hanging greenery, rows of high-top tables held platters of past hors d'oeuvres. Mini smoked salmon tartlets, truffled mushroom arancini, and delicate macarons painted in Fortune Rewards signature teal. A champagne bar at one end poured flutes of bubbly, each glass adorned with a tiny edible F emblem. Tony Marshall stood at the entrance greeting guests, store managers from across the region, corporate executives, tech bloggers, and even local charity partners who had received donations through Fortune Rewards. By her side, Linda Prescott wore a sleek navy dress, her name badge swapped for an elegant black tie ribbon that read Pilot Store Champion. The two shared a proud glance. From suspicion to partnership, their journey had redefined Hartwell's future. At the stroke of 7 p.m., CEO Jonathan Harding took the podium. The room hushed, the soft clink of glass subsiding into attentive silence. "Thank you all for joining us tonight," he began, voice warm through the microphone. What began as an experiment 6 weeks ago has become one of the most important initiatives in Hartwell's history. Fortune Rewards has enrolled over 50,000 members, driven a 40% increase in repeat visits, and delivered more than 2,000 volunteer hours to our community partners. None of this would have been possible without the vision and tenacity of one special guest. Soft applause rippled through the crowd as Harding raised a glass toward Tony. Tony Marshall, please join me. He stepped aside and gestured. Tony, her fortune card, now suspended from a sleek lanyard, stepped forward, cheeks flushed with pride. Harding continued, on behalf of every Hartwell's employee and customer, I present you with this commemorative fortune plaque, a symbol of innovation, collaboration, and the power of bold ideas. He handed her a hand-engraved crystal block bearing the words, Fortune Rewards, Forging Community Through Innovation. In gratitude to Tony Marshall. Tony accepted the plaque, voice steady but brimming with emotion. Thank you, Jonathan, and thank you to every team member who embraced this idea, she said, turning to include Linda and the store managers in her gaze. When Linda first followed me through the store, I sensed hesitation and bias, but tonight, that same store is leading a movement of customer empowerment and social good. Fortune Rewards proves that when we open our minds, even to those we initially doubt, we can create something far greater than any of us imagined. The room erupted into heartfelt applause, and Harding raised his glass for a toast. To opportunity realized, to bridges built, and to many more chapters in Hartwell's story. Glasses clinked, the sound echoing against the atrium's glass walls. As the formal ceremony concluded, music began, a modern remix of soulful jazz, and guests drifted to the dance floor. Tony and Linda slipped away to the balcony overlooking the city lights. Below, a digital ticker on the main showroom flashed new milestones. 60,000 members, $1.2 million in charitable contributions, 35% year-over-year sales growth. Linda pressed Tony's arm. You've changed everything, she said, voice soft with wonder. I never imagined our store could lead a revolution. Tony smiled, gazing out at the sparkling skyline. Neither did I, she admitted. But with a single card and a willingness to listen, we've opened a door not just for Hartwell's, but for every customer who wants more than just products. They want purpose. As the evening wound down, Tony slipped the fortune card from its lanyard and held it between her fingers under the balcony lights. It gleamed like a beacon of possibility. Tomorrow, she would draft plans to expand Fortune Rewards into new markets and to mentor the next generation of innovators carrying their own cards of destiny. But tonight, she simply savored the moment. An entire company renewed, a community uplifted, and the knowledge that the right idea, when championed with integrity, can indeed shake up an entire business and light the path to a bolder tomorrow.